Hi, friends. It's Nicole Steele, the owner and creator behind The Joyful Stamper. I have a blog or a website, thejoyfulstamper.com, and I'm happy you're here today. And if you're not watching this live, I'm still happy you're here. I'm posting this on my blog, and I post this on my YouTube channel whenever I am done. And this Facebook Live usually lasts between 20 and 30 minutes. I catch you up on the latest news from Stampin' Up! And from my business, The Joyful Stamper, and I do a stamping demonstration. So today, well, first, I am so excited because it's snowing outside right now. Big, fat, fluffy snowflakes, and I love it. I love winter. It's my favorite season. I love the snow, and I know I'm in the minority with that. Most people like the sun and the beach, and I get all that, but this just makes me so happy. Shortly before I came on here live, I was just sitting in the living room looking out our big bay window with my dog Lily, just watching the snow fall, and it's so peaceful. I enjoy it. But I have a class at the library this afternoon, so I am hoping that this snow does not keep people away because I'm super excited about it. So I hope they come. I have some fun surprises for them, and I think they're really going to like the Christmas cards that we're going to make today. So, but you, my friends, you get to stay warm and toasty inside your home, and you can stamp with me right here. You can be in your pajamas, you can be dressed up, you can have a jeans and hoodie on, and you're good to go. You're comfortable. So I'm so happy you're here. This is the card that we are going to make today. It uses the Gather Together set and some of the products from the Come Together product suite. Okay, thanks, Lissa. It's my Stampin' Up upline. She's awesome, by the way. And I can't wait to see you this weekend at On Stage, Lissa. So, first news to share. Purple Posy ink. If you didn't hear this already, I love the hearts, guys. Thanks. If you didn't hear this already, Stampin' Up! Has decided to discontinue the Purple Posy ink. So, sad news, I know. It's a very pretty soft purple, but the ink just isn't staying true to its color in the ink pad. But Stampin' Up!, because they're so amazing, they're not going to leave you high and dry. If you bought a Purple Posy ink pad, just contact them or let me know and I'll contact them, and they're going to issue you a $7.50 credit for that. They want to make you happy. They want to make it right. But Purple Posy is still available in cardstock. It's still available in the markers and the ribbons, any of the other accessories. So you can still create with it and use it. Just the ink pad and the ink refill are being discontinued. Second, I mentioned I was going to see my friend Lissa at On Stage this weekend at Las Vegas. I can't wait to go. We leave on Thursday. My husband is going with me, although he's not going to go to the convention itself on Saturday. We're going to go to Vegas for a few days and just have some fun. And I think we have tickets to see Jerry Seinfeld too. So I'm excited about that because I've watched Seinfeld all the time in the 90s. And my kids even like it today. So occasionally we'll watch it together, and its sense of humor never goes out of style. I really like that sarcasm that he has. So I'm going to Las Vegas to the On Stage Stampin' Up! Convention, and I heard there's going to be about 1,500 people there. But here's the crazy thing. That isn't the only place Stampin' Up! Is having a convention. They have these all around the world because Stampin' Up! Is a global company. So I think they have 50,000 demonstrators. So it's so much fun to gather with other people that are just as excited about this as you are. And we're going to make pretty things, and we're going to see product demonstrations. And best of all, we are going to get the new Occasions catalog and celebration catalogs that are coming out in January for customers, which means you. For demonstrators, we get to see it now, and we get to start ordering from it also in December. So be on the lookout for all the fun new things that are going to be coming from that. Also, I have a new host code for November. If you place any size order with me in the month of November, I will email you what I'm calling a 6-pack of Christmas card tutorials. Hi, Jay. And these are 6 Christmas cards. They have step-by-step instructions, all the measurements, full color photos, and the supply list. So you will be able to easily create these. And because there's 6 of them, You can, and they're easy to recreate, so you can make multiples of these. You can have all your Christmas cards done. Make up your list, dress your envelopes, stamp them, ready to go. Any size order qualifies for this. You'll find the host code for that special on my blog, thejoyfulstamper.com. Now, if your order is $150 or greater, do not use that host code. I want you to have the Stampin' Rewards, the free Stampin' Up product that you get for orders over $150. I will still email you the 6-pack of Christmas card tutorials, however, because I am so grateful for your business. I am grateful to all my customers, and it's my way of saying thank you to you. Also, I have a cookies and cards class here in my, what I call my stamping cottage, on December 11th, and I have 2 sessions, 10 a.m. to noon and 7 p.m. to 9 p.m. You need to register for those ahead of time because I am limited in space. And what I'm going to do is, I love to bake. So I'm going to make some homemade cookies, and we'll enjoy those while we stamp some Christmas cards. I hope you can make it to that. You will find the details to that also on my blog, thejoyfulstamper.com. The other big news from Stampin' Up, there is a sale next week, November 20th through the 22nd, for 3 days. Stampin' Up is having a sale, an online extravaganza. I don't know the details of it yet because they didn't release that part, but they did give us a heads up that it's going to be happening next week. So as soon as I find something out, I will let you know. So be sure to watch for that so that you're ready to stock up and save on your stamping supplies. Lastly, there is also a new paper pumpkin kit out. This is the December kit, and from now until December 10th, you can sign up for it to receive it. It's called Something for Everything, and it has 13 sentiments in it that cover all occasions: weddings, birthdays, thank yous, thinking of you. I even put a little video about it on my blog, and it will show, the video shows you all the sentiments that are in the December paper pumpkin kit, Something for Everything. So if you're interested in that, if you like to get a fun surprise in your mailbox every month, make sure to sign up for that. And you can subscribe to Paper Pumpkin also through my blog. And I showed the colors there too. They gave us a heads up about what the colors are, and they said that it was 12 full-sized cards with envelopes. So I don't know, maybe you could use the kit to make thank you cards for the Christmas gifts that you receive from people, and you'll have them all made and ready to go, and you can get them out very timely right after the holidays. That would be nice, wouldn't it? So that's all the news. I have that all listed on my blog if you need to see it in print. I know I like to read things in order for it to really sink in. So you can go to my blog, thejoyfulstamper.com, to read about that. And I would so appreciate it if you would share this video. It helps me out a lot, gets me in contact with new people. I love connecting with new stampers or people that are new to stamping and want to give it a try. So if you share this, I am very thankful for you. Thank you so much. And I can pop something into the mail to you as a thank you. So please share. All right, let's get to the stamping demonstration. I have a class I have to teach this afternoon, so I get a full day of stamping, and this is my job. How awesome is that? Okay, so we are going to start with the Gather Together stamp set. I hope this lighting is better. I snagged my daughter's desk lamp because it's starting to get a little gray and overcast with the winter weather now, so hopefully this is better. I have used this set so much. If you go to my website and do a search for Gather Together, it will pull up all the projects that I have made with this. And I've done more than cards. I've done home decor with it, and yeah, a couple home decor projects and also cards. So you can pull those up and you can see that. I also pin my stuff to Pinterest, so you can find me on there too under the name The Joyful Stamper. And if you want to see the whole product suite that stamp set is part of, you can go to page 47 in Stampin' Up's holiday catalog. We have ribbon, we have a pack of 12 by 12 designer series paper, you have dies that coordinate with the stamp set, and you have these wooden embellishments, tags and feathers. I've had a lot of fun with those, and I discovered you can color on them with your Stampin' Blends alcohol ink markers. So you can get some really fun looks with those, and you can heat emboss them too. I know I have samples of those because I've tried them. So that's page 47 on the holiday catalog. If you don't have a catalog, make sure you email me, Nicole@thejoyfulstamper.com, and I can pop one in the mail to you. All right, so we're going to start. with a 5.5 by 8.5 piece of Cajun Craze cardstock, and I scored it in the middle at 4¼ inches. And I'm going to go ahead and fold that. Then I'm going to take a Cajun Craze ink pad, and I'm going to use the wheat image from this stamp set gathered together, and I'm going to stamp all over the card. Now, again, I'm just going to do the edges because that's all you're really going to see on this card. We're going to cover it with our main focal point, which is going to be a bunch of leaves in different patterns of paper. Now, you don't have to be too concerned when you stamp this way about getting things just right. Just twist and turn your stamp, twist and turn your paper, because this is not the focus of the card. It's just the background. So it doesn't have to be perfect. So there you go. Oh, let me see. There you go. You can see it. The leaves are all, or the wheat sheaves are all around the edge. Okay. Next, I'm going to take a piece of Pear Pizzazz cardstock. This is 4 inches by 4¼ inches. And I'm going to have all the measurements on my website. I actually put together a PDF tutorial that you can download, you can print out, and it has the measurements, the products I used, and the step-by-step instructions. And so this, I think it's 4 inches by 4¼ and this time that's Pear Pizzazz, but I'm going to use Old Olive ink on this, and I'm going to stamp the sentiment Season of Thanks all over it. And again, this does not have to be perfect either. Now, the other thing I like to do sometimes is do what's called generation stamping, where you ink it up and stamp it, and then without re-inking it again, I'm going to stamp it again. And what that does is it gives you a different shade of that color. And it's a great way to get more mileage out of your ink pads, because you can get 3, 4 different hues from one ink pad. So it's really economical. I know right when you first start, you would like to buy everything. I get that feeling, but the reality is most of us can't do that. So you buy a few ink pads in your favorite colors, and when you do generation stamping like this, you can do one more. You can get a lot more mileage out of your ink pads. So I'm just covering it. Again, no pattern. Just go ahead and put it on there, because this is not going to be the focal of our card. It's just a nice little background. So that was Old Olive ink on Pear Pizzazz cardstock. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm taking a piece of vellum. This one I can't remember the measurements of, so you'll have to check out my blog to see that. I'm going to put that right on top of that Pear Pizzazz piece that I just stamped. And to adhere that, I like to use snail adhesive when I'm adhering vellum. Vellum's not really all that porous, so I find that the liquid glues don't work so well with it. Snail tends to work better. So I'm going to put that right over top of it. And also, it doesn't matter if you can see a little bit of the adhesive, because we're going to cover it. We're going to cover it with all the pretty leaves that we're going to put on it. So I just have it glued over top of it like that. And I love how vellum softens everything. So if you ever find yourself working with patterned paper, for example, and you're thinking, this pattern's just really bright. It's too bright for the card. It's too loud. Try putting a piece of vellum over it, and that should tone it down and soften it, and you'll be able to use it. I do that all the time with pieces that I'm just really not sure how to use. Now, what I'm going to do is put 4 gold brads, 1 on this piece, 1 in each corner. And to do that, I'm going to use a Stampin' Pierce mat, and I'm going to use a paper piercer. Now, the Take Your Pick tool is what Stampin' Up has now that has the piercer on it. I've been stamping for 20 years, so I actually bought this from Stampin' Up about 15 years ago. So, but the Take Your Pick tool not only has the little pointy end on it, but it's got a little spatula on it and a couple other tools on it too. So it's a lot more versatile actually than this one I've got. And I'm just going to poke 4 holes, 1 in each corner. And then I'm going to take my gold brads and I'm going to push them through. Now these things are tiny, so sometimes I can get a little fumble fingers about it, but eventually I get it to work. And the brads that Stampin' Up has, oh, my dog's growling, sorry. Lily, shush, it's just the neighbor. So Stampin' Up! Has these brads, but they don't come in just gold. You get a container. You get gold brads, you get rose gold, you get silver, and you get copper. So all the metals are covered. I'm particularly partial to rose gold myself. And these will look really nice with the Christmas time is here suite that Stampin' Up! Has coming out, or does have out. That's available for just this month. There's lots of gold in that suite right there. Okay, so I put four gold brads, one in each corner. And now I am ready to adhere that to my Cajun Craze card base. And I'm going to use multi-purpose liquid glue for that. Actually, no, I'm not. I take that back. Because I have the brads on the back, I'm going to use Stampin' Dimensionals. The Dimensionals are always a good choice when you've got anything kind of lumpy or bumpy on your card, because it lifts it up off the paper and makes it stick better. So if you were tying ribbon around a piece of cardstock, you would use Dimensionals. And I'm using brads, so I'm going to use Stampin' Dimensionals, and these are the regular size ones. We also have mini ones for those teeny tiny pieces. Okay, it's starting to look nice. I love it. All right, next we are going to put on our leaves. Now I die cut 9 of these leaves from the Come Together Designer Series paper. This is a fantastic way to use up your paper scraps. If you've been stamping or paper crafting for any length of time, you have a mountain of those. And the paper is so pretty, you don't want to throw it out. So last week I showed you how to make a Christmas card using little 1/2-inch strips of your Designer Series paper. This week I die cut some leaves. And these are the patterns that I used from the Come Together Designer Series paper pack. We have the crumb cake with polka dots. We have this check pattern. And we have this one that has leaves. Now the thing is, this paper is double-sided. So if you actually like the patterns on the back, for instance, you can go ahead and use those too. Whatever floats your boat, whatever you like, it's all up to you. No rules. And I'm going to adhere these also with snail adhesive to my card front on the vellum piece. And I'm doing them in rows of 3. So it'll be 3 on the top, 3 in the middle, and then 3 on the bottom. Now I will show you the dies that I used before I go any farther. These are called the Gathered Leaves dies, and they coordinate with the Gather Together stamp set. You can see it cuts out that large leaf image. It cuts out the large pumpkin. It cuts out the smaller 2 pumpkins. And then you have 3 just general purpose leaf dies that will also emboss as they cut, meaning they'll put some details into the paper as you're cutting them out. And you'll also notice that you get 2 of the same die here. These both cut out the smaller pumpkins. And the reason Stampin' Up! Does that is because if you're creating a scene, let's say, you don't want to keep cranking it through your die cutting machine over and over and over again. So they give you multiples of the same die, and that allows you to quickly get the job done. All right, I'm going to move this leaf here. And this is what's great about snail. If you don't really like where you have something, it's easy to just pull it back up and reposition it, because it doesn't stick it so tight that it's going to tear your paper when you pull it up, which is nice. Our tear and tape adhesive, I think my roll of snail is empty. Maybe not. Our tear and tape adhesive is pretty strong. That roll of tape is really useful for 3D projects. So if you're making a box or a bag, you would definitely want to use tear and tape so that it doesn't fall apart on you or the recipient. But for something like this, where I'm just attaching it to vellum, snail adhesive is perfect. Okay, I only have 2 more leaves to go. Make sure I put enough on there. And I put them on randomly. Some are facing up, some are facing down, some are facing sideways. So it kind of looks like, you know, in real life where leaves are just blowing around randomly, landing wherever. So there I have a random pattern display of these leaves. Okay. Next, we are going to stamp our greeting, Season of Thanks. So I cut a little rectangle of Whisper White cardstock. I think this is 1 inch by 1 3/4 of an inch. And I'm going to use Early Espresso ink for this one. And I'm also using the same sentiment I used on the Pear Pizzazz cardstock. It's called Season of Thanks. So I ink that up good, stamp it right in the middle. And early espresso ink is such a rich, deep chocolate brown. I love it when making fall cards. It's perfect for when you want your something a little bit darker, but you don't quite want it as dark as black, which in some cards can be a little bit harsh. So early espresso is the perfect compromise. Now, the other technique that I really, really like to do, I like to do a lot of sponging on my card. And I remember when I first saw this back in 2002, my favorite scrapbooker in the world, Rebecca Sower, I can never know how to pronounce her last name. She was the first person I saw that sponged on her projects, her scrapbook pages, and I fell in love with that technique. I know, it seems silly because all you're doing is taking a sponge, dipping it into an ink pad, and brushing it against the edges of your cardstock. But the effect that it produces gets me giddy. I love it. I know, I'm so silly over this stuff. I'm so silly. But I know there are other people out there like me, and there are other people out there that are going to become like me and love this as much as I do. So I love that. It's also great if you like the vintage look and you want to make something look a little shabby and old. Just take your sponge and some brown ink, early espresso, soft suede, crumb cake, any of those Stampin' Up colors will work, and just sponge it. You can even take your sponge and pounce it over top of your whole piece of cardstock, and it'll give it this really cool speckled texture too. This hobby is so much fun. It's so much fun. And then I'm going to put some liquid adhesive, multi-purpose liquid glue on the back, and I'm going to kind of tuck this at an angle on the front of my card, just like that. If you've seen any of my projects, you know that I love to layer and tuck all my card pieces. I just love a card that has lots of detail, lots of layers, lots of things to look at, and I like it when it looks really random. Now, the last thing I'm going to do is I'm taking a piece of Cajun Craze twine that I've tied into a bow, and this is from the Come Together ribbon combo pack. In that pack, you'll get a full spool of this Cajun Craze twine, and you'll also get some beautiful soft ribbon in the crumb cake color. I should have brought it upstairs with me, but it's downstairs in my stamping space, so I don't have it with me. But this is my last little piece of that Cajun Craze twine. I've used the entire roll up, and I'm going to use it on this card. And I'm going to use a glue dot to stick this on. There's my piercer. And don't you love it though whenever you use something up? I find it so satisfying. And it doesn't just have to be Stampin' stuff. If something's been sitting in our cupboard in the kitchen for a long time and I finally use it up, it makes me so happy. So I use this whole spool of twine up. If I use a container of, let's say, brads up, that makes me happy too. I feel accomplished somehow, or like I got my money's worth. Like I did it. And there you go. There's the card. That's it. And now all I have to do is write a message in it, thanking somebody for something, because you know what? People are always doing nice things for me. So I always have a reason to say a thank you to somebody. And quite frankly, I think it's fun too to get something in the mail. Just letting somebody know how much you appreciate them. That would totally make somebody's day because they're not expecting it at all. Not expecting it at all. And I think people like to feel loved and appreciated. And this is definitely a great way to do it. So I hope you like the card that I shared today. And actually this one I made, I already have somebody in mind that I'm mailing it out to. So you will know who you are when you get it in the mail. I thank you for joining me today. If you want any of the supplies that I have used to create this card, be sure to go to my shopping site, shopwithnicole.stampinup.net, or you can go to my main website, thejoyfulstamper.com. That is my hub. That is where you will find everything that I offer. You will see my class listings and my event listings. You will be able to find my shopping page from there. You will be able to subscribe to Paper Pumpkin, and you will find all the ways that you can find me on social media. So I hope that you will check that out and that you will choose one of the ways to follow me: Facebook, Pinterest, Instagram. You can follow my blog if you like, and I hope that you will choose me as your demonstrator and shop with me. If you do, I thank you. Be sure to share this video. I so appreciate that. And type shared in the comments so that I know that you went ahead and shared it. Thank you so much and have a blessed day.